There is a moment in every person's life when someone tells them they are too much, too loud, too sensitive, too ambitious, too different. And most people spend the rest of their lives trying to shrink themselves to fit into a space that was never designed for them in the first place. Anthropologists have studied something fascinating in early human communities. When one person behaved in ways that disrupted the group's expectations, the community's first response was almost never curiosity. It was correction. Not because the individual was broken, but because difference created uncertainty, and uncertainty felt like danger. This correction instinct became hardwired over thousands of years. Parents passed it to children, teachers passed it to students. The message was always the same: conform or face the consequences. And here is what nobody tells you. Most of the people doing the correcting were not acting out of cruelty. They were acting out of fear. Neuroscientists found something that explains this perfectly. When people observe someone breaking unspoken social rules, the brain registers it the same way it registers a physical threat. Being around someone who refuses to conform literally triggers a survival response in the people around them. This is not a moral judgment. It is biology, and it explains something many people who have been told they are wrong or broken have always sensed but never had words for. The discomfort other people felt around them was never really about them. It was about what their existence forced other people to feel. Look back across history, and the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The people who changed the world were almost always the ones their era tried hardest to fix. The scientist whose ideas were called dangerous. The child who was told to sit down and stop asking so many questions. In nearly every case, what the world was trying to fix was not a flaw, it was a frontier. When correction comes early enough and comes often enough, something shifts inside a person. The external message becomes an internal voice. A child who is told their energy is a problem does not grow up and say, "My environment failed me." They grow up and say, "I am a problem." The most effective cage is the one a person builds for themselves. Research in developmental psychology found that people who break free from these internalized corrections share one thing in common. It is a moment of recognition. A moment when they finally see that what they were taught to fix was never a malfunction. That restlessness was curiosity. That intensity was passion. That sensitivity was a depth of perception the people around them simply did not have the language for. Real freedom is something quiet. It is the ability to look at a piece of yourself that the world labeled a flaw and ask honestly, is this actually a problem? Or is it just unfamiliar? It is about finally understanding that the thing they spent so long trying to fix in you might be the very thing the world has been waiting for.